Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, we are back in Wen's World with your favorite wrestling segment of the week, and that is the male soap opera moment featuring the one and only wrestling encyclopedia from parts known, Johns Creek, Georgia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, and are potentially, we're going to find out the results in real time together, reigning, defending, undisputed Wen's World Prediction Champion on the road to Damascus, blinded by the light, is the one and only Besman Dagenhart, a.k.a. Damaskian Lycan.
Hey, everybody.
Yes, so let's get to it, guys. We don't have any time, so we're going to crunch through this for the people. They demand results and answers. So, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, Wen's World beat reporter here. We're going to go down the matches as we predicted them. First and foremost, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match for a championship match contract held in said briefcase. Booch, deliver the results, please, sir.
Yes, well, this one was right off the bat. Wenz and I are already in the lead with this one because Naomi grabbed the briefcase in what was probably one of the most high anxiety Money in the Bank ladder matches I've seen. I had no idea it was going to go, and there were a couple times where I was like, oh boy, then I was like, dear God, no, then I was like, thank you, Jesus. So I had a mixture of emotions. I almost had a freaking anxiety attack over this, but Wenz and I both picked Naomi, so we got a point. Dez picked Alexa Bliss, which wouldn't have upset me. I mean, it would have upset me because he got the point, but it wouldn't have upset me to see her win the briefcase. So, yeah, not a bad choice on the part of Desmond, but we are in the lead, Wenz, you and I, at the kickoff of this.
Yeah, I mean, Little Miss Bliss and Mommy were right there with Naomi at the end. It could have gone one of three ways, but that's how these matches go. You think it's all good, and then it's gone. So we started out strong, but Desmond, I have a feeling he would creep back into the scene here. To the second match, I don't really remember picking this match. Did we even choose for this match? Because I don't believe we did.
No. What happened was, as we were watching the show, they mentioned, because before this, there was a show called Worlds Collide, which involves WWE, NXT, and AAA, because WWE has acquired AAA. So it's not like the partnership between WWE and TNA. TNA is its own company, can do its own things, but they partner up with the WWE. WWE owns AAA. They have this company, but they're still allowing it to run as a separate brand, although there's been talks about changing it to NXT Mexico, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But they run it its own thing. And at the event, Dominic Mysterio was talking shit because apparently Octagon Jr. guys in there all love Rey Mysterio because Rey is a legend in the Mexican AAA world. And he was doing the whole deadbeat dad thing that's been done to death at this point. And then he jumps and then Octagon Jr. slaps him. Dominic jumps the barricade. It's a big fight. And he says, I'll see you at Money in the Bank and I'll put the title on the line. And I contemplated texting you guys, but then I thought about it and I went, okay, anybody here realistically going to pick Octagon Jr.? No. So there's no point in having a pick for this. And I thought, okay, who's Desmond going to pick? He's going to pick Dominic. We're all going to pick Dominic, so it would have been a wasted text. Unless someone here honestly thought Octagon Jr. was walking out, and it was blah. It was there. It was an Intercontinental title match. It was a match, and there was nothing to this. It was just, you like luchador wrestling with no story? Here you go. That's pretty much it. It had a story, but it was like a one-page pop-up book, basically.
Yeah, and, maybe if Liv Morgan isn't ringside distracting the competition, they'd have a fighting chance, but that's what she's there for, and she's so darn good at it, I'll tell you what. So, 0 points across the board for that unknown impromptu match that we didn't know about. But this third one, I should have known better. But you know what? Fortune favors the bold, but that's why I'm in the poorhouse right now. As Becky Lynch defeated Lyra Valkyria via pinfall. We knew the stips going into this match, gentlemen. That's what made it quasi-interesting. Great match. For a couple minutes there, I thought maybe they were going to swerve you guys, and I would have been texting like a madman. But alas, I was wrong. Your thoughts, Booch and Desmond, on this match?
Well, this was, to me, it was obvious. I said it was obvious, and I'm surprised Booch went against it. But to me, this was obvious. This isn't over. It was never going to be over. Becky won, and she put some star power on that IC title.
So just to be clear, I was the one that went against it, and Booch went with it, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm surprised. I was saying I'm surprised he went with Becky.
Oh, like, I heard went against it. I'm like, I didn't pick Lyra.
You guys made it abundantly clear that it didn't make sense to pick Lyra.
Exactly. I said it hoping, if you go back and watch the tape, I'm saying Becky Lynch with confidence. I'm thinking Desmond's going to pick Lyra. Then he said, oh, 100% Becky's winning. You can see me in the corner going, son of a bitch, god damn it. I was pissed. I was pissed off because I'm thinking he's going to pick Lyra and I'm going to get this point by myself. But no, this was Des getting a point on the board, me taking the lead, and Wen's kind of sitting in the corner. So Des is on the board, but right now, the Booch is feeling confident because I'm like, I'm getting my title back. I'm feeling it. Like I'm not arrogant, but the confidence is building. It's building at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I need a dunce hat with that pick. But you know what? Listen, what did I talk about before? I felt like we called that too soon, but we knew it was in the works. I also called Goldberg about 3 or 4 weeks too soon. But as we get to that, just know that we are on the path. We're ahead of the game. We are ahead of the creative writers in Stamford, Connecticut. So just know that as you watch the show, you're ahead too. So stick with us all the way through. We're going to talk about the rest of Money in the Bank and if King of the Ring, if we get to it, and Queen of the Ring. We're a very inclusive show here. But yeah, we all knew that this was going to come to a head. We all knew that this was going to set up for Bayley and Becky, and now we're seeing it. I love to see Lyra still staying strong. I was wrong. I'm gonna own it on two fronts. Not only was I wrong about the pick, but I was also wrong about how this would impact Lyra. And she got pushed to beyond what a face can handle, and it was expected for her to go ahead and handle business after the match. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think she could get a cheap shot, but she was pushed to beyond what the stipulations were. And so they played that right. They booked it right. And so I was wrong, and I'm here to own that. Any parting words before we move on to the next match, guys?
Solid match. Loved it. And what made it work was the fact that they did this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lyra's hesitant, but she realizes a babyface is always a man or woman of their word. That is the rule of a babyface. Like, okay, I promised I would do this, so I'm gonna do it. So so she's raising the hand. She's not happy about it, but she's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna lead. She's like, no, now I want all the corners, like the Hogan, Elizabeth, Macho Man kind of thing, where I'm going here, then I'm going here, then I'm going there. So she's getting annoyed. And then finally she's like, no, now I want you to put the belt around my waist. I'm like, this bitch. So finally by that point, it's like, all right, I put the belt around her waist. I made my point. German suplex. By that point, it was like, okay, I didn't agree to this.
Yeah, totally.
I never said I'd do this. I said I'd raise your hand. You wanted to be you wanted to be an arrogant bitch about it. So now, boom, I'm humbling your ass. So it worked. The timing of it worked. I made my word. I didn't say I wouldn't kick your ass afterwards. I just said I'd raise your hand. So you can't say I didn't keep my promise.
It's true. Exactly. Des, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that was about it. That all covered it. It was a fun match. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it put me on the board.
Sure did. Points on the board. Desmond has one at this point. Booch and I both have one. So we're looking forward to this next match, the men's Money in the Bank contract match. And you guys are right. I was wrong. Again, Seth Rollins, I didn't feel, and a lot of people felt like he didn't need it, but they gave it to him. It is sexy. It does strengthen his stable. And so I see the direction here. I'm very interested in how this is going to pan out, but I'm interested. And that's the key word here, guys. This has everybody buzzing. People are excited about the vision. I am. I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that if you're not watching them to like them, you're watching them to boo them. And that's exactly the way it should be. One or the other. It's all good either way. But as far as this Money in the Bank men's ladder match, It was fantastic. There were opportunities for El Grande Americano. I mean, he got screwed, as any, luchador probably would in this match. And it's probably, honestly, he went to the Gulf of America, maybe had a couple too many Steve Weisers on that trip. It could happen to anybody. But y'all's thoughts on this men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Here's the thing. We all laughed when Wenz picked El Grande Americano. But there was a moment where it looked like he was going to win this. So we as much as we want to, as much as we like to tease the Wenz for taking big gambles and failing, we can't really do that on this one. Because there was that moment. And here's the thing. It's one of those moments where if we looked at it as analysts, it was so sloppily done. It was so terribly done. But the moment was so epic, you forget. Like, that catapult from LA Knight looked awful. But I kind of let that one slide because I'm like, okay, the ladder's right there. I'm like, all right, you look past that. You see Penta holding that briefcase. He could have ripped that shit down at any time. It's clearly taking too long. So from an analyst standpoint, it's god fucking awful. But the way they presented it, you kind of just let it slide. So,
which is important.
You kind of let it slide. So I kind of let it slide on that one. I didn't judge it too harshly when my comments, but as an analyst, I have to say it was sloppily done. But because it was El Grande Americano and the fact that he headbutted him and almost won the damn thing, I think we can let this one slide. I think we can all agree that I'll let this one go.
It's one of those you have to just let some things go to realize this is meant to be entertainment, and it was entertaining.
Yeah,
which is all in the end. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. It was so entertaining. I let it go.
Yeah, it was a great. Yeah,
but as far as thinking that for that moment they teased us like he was going to win, it's like going back to when Alberto Del Rio and fucking Santino were in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I mean, they were the last two. He hits the Cobra, and you think he's going to win, and then they swerve you at that last second. It was that level of epicness. Like, we wanted for a moment for the silly character to win. And they took that away from us, but in such an entertaining moment that will live on.
Yeah, no doubt. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. And they need to carry this momentum. And let's see how it goes. I mean, nobody's buried in a Money in the Bank match. It's one of those where if you're there, cool. That means you're going to be in the big matches in the months to come. So all these competitors, maybe with the exception of Andrade,
Well, yeah. Well, and there are some fans that are, and I'm not in this category, just to make that clear. I'm just saying what I've seen in the internet, the dirt sheets. Apparently people are pissed that LA Knight didn't win. Because this is third time in a row. So they're saying he's getting buried. I wouldn't go that far, but I do hear people saying that this is why are they fucking over LA Knight? Is apparently the question.
Kofi's been in how many of these matches, and he's never won one? I mean, it's the same deal. It's like these 8-man matches, you have to have some people who are in there because they're big names, knowing that they're not going to win. They're going to put on a show, and that's why they're in the match. And that's what LA Knight was there for. He was in the big match. He's going to put on a show and entertain the fans.
Yeah, and he had some spots where it could have been him. I mean, that's the beauty of these matches, gentlemen. It's where, you feel like you guys said earlier. I love the Santino Morella. I love that. That's just beautiful. Not my singing, but the intro there. Well, we got to move on for time's sake because I still want to get to King and Queen of the Ring. I want to talk about Goldberg. And in case you're wondering, how the heck is Goldberg relevant? I mean, wasn't Jey Uso champion? Well, yes and no. And it happened on a Monday night. And this is blowing my freaking mind, y'all. It's blowing my freaking mind because as somebody who missed Raw and then found out on Twitter, I'm like, wait, what? What? This is exactly what is right and wrong. But I want to talk about what I mean by that. But let's talk about the last match before we get to that. And that is Cody Rhodes and the aforementioned Jey Uso defeating John Cena and Logan Paul by pinfall. Let it be known that I called the exact finish on this match, even though I was dead wrong about Becky and Lyra. This one, I felt it. I felt like you gotta have Cena involved. You gotta have Rhodes involved with this, and the finish. Like you gotta build this thing, man, because a lot of us are doubting this. A lot of us are, and I'm one of them. I'm gonna admit it. I'll acknowledge it. But they're building it back up, and I like it. But let's talk about this match, this tag team match. Gentlemen, your thoughts on the match, and then we'll get to the afters.
I knew that this was a match the faces were going to win because this was the only match that Cena was in where he didn't have to lose, he didn't have to be pinned. You could have protected Cena. This was the time to make him lose a match without killing his credibility. And that was my focus. That was why I said he wouldn't be pinned. But we know that he was pinned, and he was pinned by Cody. But it wasn't Cody who put that nail in that coffin. No. They fired R-Truth. The fans reject that. We recognize the council has made a decision. But given that it is a stupid-ass decision, we have elected to ignore it. We brought Truth back. Truth comes back as Ron Killings hits Cena in the head with his own title and gives Cody that 1, 2, 3. Oh, such a great moment. Holy shit.
Yeah, and let's get to it. I mean, I think everybody has their feelings. Booch, any thoughts on this match? Anything beyond what Des said?
Well, I do have to reiterate for point's sake. Obviously, Seth Rollins won. That gave Desmond and I a point.
Oh, sorry.
Was a great match. This was it. If John Cena and Logan Paul had gotten that victory, I would have the belt in my hand right now. But can't be too mad about the finish. Did not see it coming. I mean, Cody and Jay winning was a possibility, yes. But I remember we saw the guy hit with the title, and for a brief second, I thought it was Travis Scott. 100% thought it was Travis Scott. And then come off, and I see R-Truth. For the whole duration of the match, this is me for the whole rest of the match. As soon as R-Truth's face revealed, this is me. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is me. I'm just repeating what the fuck for the next 5 minutes because I could not believe what I saw. Des and I were on the phone for an hour after the pay-per-view talking about it. I was like, but the finish was great. And then as a result of that, the final score is Wenz is dead last with 2, tied with 3. So Des keeps the belt on a technicality. But it should go on record. Desmond is the champ. I'll let him have the belt. But on record, the Booch successfully predicted both Money in the Bank ladder matches, which is a rarity on the Bale Popper moment. Usually you get one. Sometimes you get none. I got both. So yes, Desmond is the champ. I acknowledge the champ, but I want it on record. I got both.
Send this man some flowers. Beautifully said, Booch. I agree. Listen, it is what it is. I'll acknowledge it. I'll acknowledge it. Good stuff. But yeah, I mean, this sets up what's ahead. And we were all kind of wondering, how long is this Jey Uso thing going to last? And what's it going for? Like, some of us thought, not me, but some of us thought that this was going to go for a while, like at least 6 months, right? But now we've seen what they wanted to do. And listen, it makes sense. He's the mark guy. Everybody's buying the shirts. Listen, they make money, and it's a business, right? And he's good at what he does. The kids love him. And he's over. He's so over right now. So, right. I
just want to add to something here. He's not leading the main event. He's selling too much merch. He's still going to be up at the top. The only thing that it bothers me is I feel like he should have beaten Gunther, and then we should have seen Seth Rollins cash in immediately after. I feel like that's how he should have lost that.
That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. Yeah. But
I feel like Seth does not need a long Money in the Bank reign. He is smart enough to be able to use it quickly and make use of it.
Yeah, and it makes sense that where he shouldn't have to wait too long with his faction behind him.
Right.
It makes sense that he could cash in with the next, so often. I don't know, maybe a month or two. We'll see what happens there. But let's get to it. Listen, the people are wanting to know. Wait, but Bill Goldberg, first of all, he's still alive. I thought he died last year. New Year's Eve when they run all the people who died last year. I always get at least one of them wrong. It's a game I like to play with my family. I'm like, oh, I thought they died. Oh, I thought they were still alive. That's crazy. It's always the January deaths because you never remember by December. That's the way it goes. But it's the resurrection of Bill Goldberg. It's not really. It's more of a, hey, he's got a match or two left on his contract. We got to do this thing. So where do we put him? This is the way this feels, guys. And I am 3 letters about this upcoming match. And they teased it. Booch, you called it a few weeks back when they were talking about, like, this is a for sure thing. The 3 letters that come to mind are as follows. M-E-H. Meh. Meh, meh, meh. And there's reason for this. We all know Bill Goldberg is not walking out with gold. It's not going to happen. So why not make it a triple threat match, right? Which time is still here. I don't know. It could be. This doesn't make sense. Help me to understand. Make it make sense, guys.
Well, I don't like the fact that the title's on him either, which is why I say that Jay should have won and then lost via cash in. But it does create another moment. We know that Goldberg said that he wants to retire this year. We know that. That's not a surprise. So one of two things could happen. They could be retiring a belt if they so choose. If they do, though, I feel like they should retire Cena's. Personally, because I feel like that would be great to have Cena retire with a belt. That'd be fun. That being said, I would love to see Goldberg win to get that title on his fucking record, and then immediately have it cashed in on by Rollins.
Oh my gosh, that would be, dude. That is, oh my gosh. WWE, if you are listening, please make this happen. Make it happen.
Like,
I love it.
Like, you give his final night, his final official match, he wins the title, and then a cash in takes it away.
And it would be a great heel move. It would be a perfect heel move.
Absolutely, because the people who are Goldberg fans are going to mark out that he wins the title.
Yeah.
But it allows the title to stay in WWE.
That is, Desmond, that is the best take I've ever heard from you. I mean, that is if from your mouth to God's ears. Let it happen.
I do want to add one more thing about Goldberg, because I mean, Vinny knows my feelings about Goldberg. I've said for years now he is super fucking overrated. But now I am vindicated. Kurt Angle said it too. Angle says the most overrated wrestler in history is Bill Goldberg.
And if only Bret Hart agreed with you guys. But, alas, here we are. Boots, your thoughts on this? Because it's making more sense to me, but do you have any more insight that can help me understand this saga?
I'm going to say something right now. The only thing that's pissing me off at this current point in time is that Desmond said what he said before I could. Because I was literally going to say the exact same thing. That would be the way to do it. At first, I didn't like the fact the title was involved either. Because I was thinking like, well, great, you're now making this predictable. Because without the title, there's that possibility. Could Goldberg win? Could Gunther win? What would happen? But there's that Seth Rollins cash in. Here's the thing. If you're going to have Seth cash in, and I'm saying this as a Goldberg fan, and I got a little extra thing I need to say later before we wrap up. It's very important. That's exactly how it should happen. And I'm going to tell you why. Because imagine that. Goldberg beats Gunther. He's got the title in his hand. He gets jumped by Braun Breaker. He gets jumped by Bronson Reed. Seth is cashing in the break. Now, keep in mind, Braun Breaker hits a spear. Maybe Bronson hits a couple tsunamis. And then you distract the referee. Now, imagine as Goldberg's celebrating, the belt is laying on the ground. Goldberg, the rest kind of distracted for a moment as he's handing off the briefcase. Now, Goldberg's getting up. Because keep in mind, no disrespect to Bronson Reed, Goldberg is Goldberg. One or two tsunamis ain't going to hold Goldberg down. But as he's slowly getting up, Seth Rollins hits the stomp, Goldberg's head hits the title. He slides the title out of the ring, preferably to the hands of Paul Heyman, and then Paul hides it. Ref covers 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins holds that title above his head. What's he get to say the next night on Raw? Not only did I beat Goldberg, I retired Goldberg. Why? Because this is his retirement match. That's why this is happening. Because Goldberg said he made a deal with Vince. If I do the job for Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, which he did, Vince promised him a retirement match. One more Goldberg match for me to hang my hat and ride off in the sunset, and Vince wasn't going to deliver on it. Triple H is honoring the promise that Vince made, that Vince did not take. Triple H said, I got you. Plus, here's Goldberg told the story in the ring. You started something with me and my family in Atlanta.
Yep, and we're going to finish it.
So we're going to end it in Atlanta, Georgia. That's why Goldberg's popping up now. Because what's happening July the 12th? Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, Georgia. And I need to do something right now. Desmond, I owe you a sincere apology. I did not mean to wake you up that night. I feel bad. Sorry. I'll explain why. When I found out Goldberg was actually going to show up, I was actually going to buy tickets to Saturday night's main event. I realized with my budget the way it is and the fact that I'm a substitute teacher and there's not a lot of gigs right now, I only had enough money to get one ticket. So I called Desmond thinking he was still watching Raw. Turns out I woke him up. And he was like, hello? I said, never mind. He goes, no, I'm awake. What is it? He goes, okay, I need to ask you a question. If I went to Saturday night's main event and I bought a ticket for myself, would you be mad at me? He's like, no, man, it is what it is. As long as you're not taking other people, I'm good. All right, good night. So, yeah, sorry I woke you, but yeah, I got a ticket, section 213, row J, the closest I could get realistically financially, because here's the thing. Regardless of what anybody feels about Goldberg, I got to say this, and this is just me being a fan right now. This is not Vincent Kennedy Bucci, the wrestling encyclopedia. This is Vincent Anthony Bucci, the wrestling fan since day one. I was a WCW guy in the Monday Night Wars. I was team WCW. I didn't jump ship until Russo showed up in 99 and fucked up Halloween Havoc that year. That's when I jumped to WWE. I was team WCW. I was the Hogan, the Sting, the Luger, the Buff Bagwell, the Scott Steiner, the NWO. I saw Goldberg's time in WCW. When I tell you guys this man was over like fucking Rover, I'm not kidding. This man commanded every room that he was in.
Agreed.
Jey Uso and all this yeet shit is deafening. Go watch 90s WCW. Goldberg had the Georgia Dome blew off the roof when this man beat Hogan for the title. And Hogan was the one that booked it. He called Bischoff and said, I want to put the title on Goldberg. Like, they were building this man. And he had the impressive streak. The man was the first undefeated man in the history of wrestling to hold a world title while still being undefeated. Most people were undefeated, lost a couple times, and then became world champion. He went right through till the taser shit from Nash, and Scott Hall. But this was a deafening moment. If you call yourself a WCW fan, not even a wrestling fan, if you at any point in your life loved WCW, respected WCW, you know that this is an end of an era in that regard. Because Goldberg, maybe second only to Sting, is the biggest WCW homegrown talent they ever had. All the other big stars came from other places. This is truly a defining moment because this is it. He's going to ride off into the sunset after this. So as a WCW fan, I have to be there. Like, this is going to be, I promise, one of the greatest moments you're going to see when he rides off in that sunset. Whether he walks out with a title like Desmond said and they retire it, whether Seth Rollins cashes in, whether by some miracle Gunther chokes this sumbitch out. Regardless, Goldberg is going to show everybody why he was the icon that he always was, and this is going to be a deafening moment in wrestling.
Realistically, I just see Goldberg dropping Gunther on his head like he did The Undertaker. So,
beautiful moment broken by Damaski and Lycan. And what better way to end the show there? I mean, that is the personality of this show. It really is. So we will never, ever leave you without a beautiful monologue about Bill Goldberg from Vincent Kennedy, Anthony Bucci. We're gonna hyphenate that, by the way. Damaskian Lycan, Desmond Dagenhart, and yours truly, the Wens. We will never, ever leave you without a few key catchphrases. One of which is, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Bye-bye, Goldberg.